Yeah, obviously it's quite difficult, or has been quite difficult, but now we'll play against another top side with a new manager, played with a lot of quality, but it's a challenge for us, so we have to approach the game thinking that we can win, and I'm sure that we will try to do it.
First is we need win, and I think it's very important the two last matches we won, and our idea, our way is Saturday on Newcastle, continue improving things and continue creating our idea.
Before the game we have been talking, we have been working on that, but we will try to do something that will be enough for winning the game.
This process is one process. Saturday another step important we can do in the difficult, but I want continuing our personality on the pitch, and this personality impose for the opposition against the opposition to find good.
Two managers, Rafa Benitez and Unai Emery, ahead of kick-off at St James's Park, then between Newcastle United and Arsenal. Mark Bircham is alongside me. Let's start with Newcastle. And where do you stand on the whole kind of Rafa versus Mike Ashley debate? Because Rafa's been, I suppose, very clever in his use of the fans and the situation to put his case. Mike Ashley has stayed fairly quiet. Club is still for sale in theory, and he's not going to invest loads and loads of money.
Well, if you look at it, Mike Ashley's a bit of a businessman, and you look how Newcastle are now. He's done quite well with what he's done. He's like cut costs. He's got the profits up a little bit. He's trying to make Newcastle. I know you can't be self-sufficient in the Premier League, but that's what he's trying to do with the club. And a bit like Rafa Benitez, as you said, he used the fans. And I remember Rafa done it when he was in the Championship. I think it come to the January, and he was asking for players to come in. And Mike Ashley went, well, if you can't get that team in the Premier League, you need shooting. I think that was his actual words because of the squad he had. So I think Mike Ashley is... He's a big personality. I think Rafa's a big personality, and Rafa wants players. So if you don't get players and a good offer from another club comes along, you wouldn't be surprised if he does move on.
I mean, he's done well. He's spent 124 million as Newcastle boss, but he's recouped them 164 million. So in some ways you feel he's probably got a right, maybe right's not the word because he's not the owner, you're just a custodian, but he's probably got a fair argument to say any chance I can have some money to spend on players, because in the past Ashley's been very open and said you can spend what you generate. Well, he's generated £40 million of profit that he's not allowed to spend.
Yeah, I think if Mike Ashley weren't trying to sell the club, he would give him that 40 million, but because he's trying to sell the club and make it more fanciable for buyers, the more money you've got in the bank, the more you can ask for. So I think because it's been that old transition period of selling the club, he's just tightened the purse strings.
Yeah, very much so. As for Arsenal today, I mean, what do you make of this? Well, they're not playing as a front two today. I think Aubameyang will play in one of the wide roles with Lacazette up top. You've got two of the deadliest strikers in Europe for the past few seasons, haven't you?
Yeah, and I don't think that'd be Arsenal's problem in scoring goals. It never has been really. But as I said, in the league, I don't expect much from Arsenal this season. I think it'd be a transition period. You see, when someone's that big a personality and has that much say in the club, like Arsenal has, look what happened to Man United when Ferguson left. So you've got to make sure that doesn't happen to Arsenal. I think he is steady the ship, Unai Emery. I think it'll be a transition year, and I think you'll see more of his team come after Christmas and maybe next season.
Yeah, but your rationale is good because you work in football and you understand it. Fans won't tolerate that, will they?
I think Arsenal fans probably will, because they were so adamant they wanted Arsenal out. The majority of them, I think the majority of them will give him more leeway, Unai Emery. I think they will give him this transition year or this transition season, and I think the pressure will come on him mainly after Christmas and then next season.
And what is the best they can hope for this season? To sneak into the top six again?
Yeah, I think if they got into the Champions League places, it will be a surprise. I think because you look at the teams up there, you've got Liverpool, you've got Man U, you've got Man City, you've got Tottenham, like Chelsea. I don't think they're as good as them.
Okay.
I think they've done probably a cup. Would be the best thing.
We shall see. Big kickoffs coming up at St James's Park. Then Newcastle against Arsenal is live next. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Premier League football is a truly global game, and TalkSport is the global audio partner of the Barclays Premier League.
It's a massive goal!
With live commentary of all 380 matches this season, available at TalkSport.com in English, Spanish or Mandarin every weekend.
What a goal! What a fantastic strike!
The event horizon of world-class football. Visit TalkSport.com to find out more.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSports International Service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
A line of bodies along the edge of the 6-yard box. Ericsson just rifles it in, and Harry Kane is there to head in almost on the goal line. More Premier League goals in a calendar year than any other player in history.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Edge of the box is Solanke. Through to Mo Salah! Who scores? Number 32! Mo Salah, the record breaker for Liverpool!
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league. Premier League Live. Brought to you by TalkSport Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the Ultimate Football Fan Tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor.
The Premier League Preview Show with TalkSport.
Sanchez wants runners. There's 6 players on the edge of the area to aim for. One is Smalling! Unbelievable scenes at the Etihad Stadium. It's 3-2 to Manchester United.
TalkSport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
We are joined on the preview show to talk about what has happened at the top of the table in the last few days by our former Premier League winger, Matthew Etherington. Adrian Clark's with us. Chris Iwelumo, fresh from the gym.
Subscribe to the podcast today at TalkSport.com and then hear every kick on Premier League Live.
Oxlade-Chamberlain goes down, but he still finds Salah, who makes it 2 to Liverpool. 1 chance, 1 goal. Number 20 for the Egyptian magician.
Listen to the show on TalkSport.com.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Newcastle United against Arsenal from St James's Park. I'm your host, Adam Bridge. Alongside me is the former Millwall, Queen's Park Rangers and Canada midfielder, Mark Bircham. This is Premier League Live. Well, we should be heading round to kick-off at St James's Park shortly, but we are having a few technical difficulties with our feed from the stadium. So let's just remind you the 2 teams quickly. 4 changes today for Newcastle. Dubravka is in goal. Yedlin, Lascelles, Fernandes and Dummett across the back. Richie, Hayden, Diame and Murphy in midfield, Perez and Hosselu up front. Arsenal unchanged, Cech in goal, Bellerin, Mustafi, Socrates and Monreal. Then it's Xhaka, Guendouzi with Ramsey, Ozil, Aubameyang and Lacazette. We will bring you coverage of that game as soon as we can bring it to you physically. The good news is we have 4 other great games going on in the Premier League this afternoon about to get underway, and we will bring you some bonus commentary from one of those at the Etihad Stadium. Man City against Fulham. Here's Andrew Self.
Well, what can you say down here at the Etihad, apart from Manchester City's well-oiled machine come up against a Fulham side that is very pleasing and entertaining on the eye, but they really are in the lion's den today. Manchester City's City Slickers are beaten in their last 11 Premier League fixtures, and they've had 91 attempts on the opposition goal this season, with 36 on target. Bearing in mind, this is only game number 5. We've only had 4. It isn't difficult to find superlatives for this side, but suffice to say it may be more interesting to see what Fulham's statistical history says about this game. Slavisa Jakovic's men are, as I say, entertaining and pleasing on the eye, but They have beaten Manchester City 3 times in the Premier League at the Etihad, albeit the last time in 2009. Quick run through the sides for you today. Manchester City in goal is Edison, a back four from left to right of Delph, Laporte, Otamendi and Walker. They have Fernandinho screen in the back four, and then they've got, well, pretty nice 3 as well. Sane, David Silva, Bernardo Silva, and up top Aguero with Raheem Sterling buzzing around him, the 23-year-old Englishman. For Fulham today, Slaviso Jokanovic has brought in, well, his side out Bettinelli in goal, a right to left back four of Christie, Odoi, Mawson and Sessegnon. Then they have 3 midfielders of Johansson, McDonald and Seri. Then it's Schürrle, Mitrovic and Vieto that will be trying to thwart the blue tide that no doubt will come down towards them today. The referee today is Stuart Atwell. And for any Fulham fans out there, he has refereed Fulham 5 times and they've lost all 5. Not a good omen there. Manchester City's squad doesn't show Company, De Bruyne, Mendy, Bravo, Danilo, all out injured. But the 2 sides, as I face the pitch, very similar camera just below my feet in the gantry below. It will be Fulham wearing a dark blue away kit, looking very much like Chelsea from a distance against Manchester City. Fulham will be playing from right to left, and they are in possession of the football straight away. Sessegnon on this near side plays it down the line. Schürrle with a lovely flick on, picked up by McDonald. McDonald into the feet of Mitrovic, 12 yards inside the Manchester City half. Just rolls it back over the halfway line to Mawson. And Mawson gets it out and back to the keeper. Fulham.
Well, welcome back to St James's Park then. Everything technically is sorted, so apologies for missing the opening 90 seconds, but you missed very little of the opening exchanges between Newcastle United and Arsenal. I'll run you through the 2 teams in a moment, but there is a free kick here, and it's for Newcastle on that far side, the right-hand side. It'll be taken by Matt Ritchie, who's looking to launch this in. He's a couple of yards in from the far touchline, and there are plenty of bodies forward here. Lascelles and Diame all lurking at the edge of this penalty area. Ritchie, he lifts that one. It's a floater towards the back post. It's headed goalwards, and Cech has to come to the edge of his 6-yard area to collect that after the header from Federico Fernandez. Let's run you through those 2 teams then. Dubravka's in goal. It's Yedlin, Lascelles, Fernandez and Dummett across the back for Newcastle. Ritchie, Hayden, Diame and Murphy in midfield with Perez and Hosselu up front. And then it's Cech, Bellerin, Mustafi, Socrates and Monreal at the back for Arsenal. Xhaka, Guendouzi, then it's Ramsey, Ozil, Aubameyang and Lacazette up top for the Gunners. Mark Bircham is alongside me as Arsenal enjoy a little bit of possession at the back here. Socrates gets it forward where he finds Ozil on halfway. Just dropped into Granit Xhaka inside the centre circle, who drives forward. Real tempo to his play, and it's played back quite comfortably in the end by Paul Dummett into the feet of Dubravka, away to our right hand side for this Newcastle side who've not lost more Premier League games against any team. 26 times they've been beaten by Arsenal, exactly the same as against Manchester United. The record is not good. That win back in April was the first in 8 years as they go searching for back-to-back victories. 3.5 minutes in, first thoughts from Mark.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I think Aubameyang would be dangerous and take up the Thierry Henry type position in the inside left. I've seen him just drift a couple of times there. I think with his pace he could cause problems. I know Yedlin's very quick, but I think he'd look to come off Lascelles into that little pocket where Thierry Henry was so good at, and I think that would be a big attacking point for Arsenal today.
Ball won well in the middle of the park this time. Working hard is Hosselu, who's been in pretty good goal-scoring form already so far this season for Newcastle, considering they've not scored too many themselves. Ritchie just volleys that ball forward with that left foot of his. Murphy's on the charge. They're obviously playing on opposite sides. What suit here? Ritchie with that left foot of his playing out wide on the right. Murphy out wide on the left. It was an early ball from Ritchie, and a couple of times we've seen them here just looking to exploit what clearly they believe is a bit of a lack of pace at the back here for Arsenal.
Yeah, definitely looking to get in there. You see that Ritchie free kick where Arsenal was zonal and they looked to attack the backside of it because Berlin and Ramsey was there and they spun round the back. So again, they'd be set pieces. They're looking to exploit Arsenal.
The Newcastle captain here, Jamal Lascelles, is not moving too freely at the moment. Diame's got the ball for them in the middle of the park at the edge of the centre circle, and he moves it out wide to the left-hand side. Murphy's on the charge here, this time on his left, and he's swung that towards the back post, too close to Petr Cech, who comfortably gathers the ball at the edge of his 6-yard area, and immediately looking to get Aubameyang away on that far side. It's back with Monreal, as we mentioned, that front line from Arsenal. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, 10 goals in his 13 starts in the Premier League. It's a very good record. That goal against Cardiff was his 150th in the European top flight over the last few seasons. He really is a terrific player and offering so much, alongside Lacazette today, who again himself has been in really good form but just couldn't get in the team at the start of the campaign. Here's Dummett down this left hand side for Newcastle, again looking to play that ball in round the back of Bellerin and making Socrates turn towards his own goal, but this time it was too far advanced for Murphy.
It's really interesting today. It's the first time I've seen Newcastle play live without Jonjo Shelvey. We've not mentioned what a big loss he is for them, because he's the catalyst for nearly everything that Newcastle does attacking wise, and he had such a good partnership with Diame in there.
He's missed the last two with a thigh injury, and he is back on the bench today. But you're right, as a man, there are few that pick passes like Shelvey in the Premier League, aren't there?
He's just, do you know what? He's not scared to do stuff. He's not scared to go fast. He's got that attitude about him, which I love, and I think he should be in the England squad, but it's his personality I don't think that Southgate likes.
Well, it's interesting. He's talked to Gareth Southgate about wanting a Gazza or someone similar who can do magical things. Shelby's got that ability, hasn't he?
Oh, definitely. And he's got a nasty streak in him, but a lot of the great players used to.
I think Gazza had a nasty streak in him, as we saw at Wembley all those many years ago. On this right-hand side, with possession of the ball at the edge of the penalty area, is Mustafi. We're going to head to the Etihad shortly. Ball picked up here by the flowing locks of Guendouzi. And it's back once more with Mustafi and Bellerin, and good pressing here from Newcastle. They've hemmed Arsenal into that final third, and they just put the ball into touch in the meantime, and Newcastle have the throw on this left-hand side. Let's rejoin Andrew Self at the Etihad for that goal.
A loose ball by Fulham. Sane records to the side today, only had to tap it in from 7 yards. Fernandinho got onto the loose ball midway inside the Fulham half, drove forward right through the defence, crossed it from the left. Sane came in from the right and side-footed it past Bettinelli for 1-0 to Manchester City in the second minute.
City then in front against Fulham by a goal to nil at the Etihad Stadium. Perfect start for Pep Guardiola's side after the international break. Ozil winning a ball, having come back to try and collect possession. Ritchie then with a foul, I think, there on Guendouzi, and it is going to be a free kick for Arsenal midway inside their own half. Almost 8 minutes played here at St James's Park. Newcastle 0, Arsenal 0. They've won 10 of the last 11 Premier League meetings between these two sides. I think that defeat back in April came as a little bit of a surprise, but maybe not based on Arsenal's away form, which was fairly wretched, of course. They have won 2 of their last 3 Premier League away games following that victory down in Cardiff. Prior to that, they'd lost the previous 7. It was that away form that really did for them last season. Ozil back to halfway into Monreal, into the middle of the park where Granit Xhaka picks it up, finds Ozil again, of course. Now he's retired from international football. He's had a relaxing couple of weeks, spending time with the remainder of this Arsenal squad that have been training through that period. Here's Ozil again. First appearance, as we mentioned earlier, at St James's Park. On towards Lacazette, that time by Aubameyang, and now those legs of Diame are so long and flowing when they get going, and that's a lovely ball down this left-hand side. Chasing into the penalty area is Murphy. Pulls the ball back across, and it only finds the feet of Xhaka around the penalty spot, who pumps it away and into touch.
And a fantastic cutback. They're so hard to defend. When Murphy gets going at Norwich, he was so energetic, and the cutback there, was it Diame getting in there? If he just carries on his run and believes, he's side-footing that in.
And it's going to be Newcastle's ball on this near side. Diame just checking with referee Lee Probert whether it's a throw-in or not, and it is. 9.5 minutes played, 0-0. No, in fact, he's given it as a corner, and it is going to be Matt Ritchie that will deliver with his left foot from this near side. Arsenal as we mentioned earlier, yet to keep a clean sheet this season. 8 goals conceded so far this campaign. That's to the back post. Lascelles flicks it on and Perez tries to get a flick, but he's watched all the way this time by Mustafi, who heads it out and behind for what will be another corner on the far side.
I think that's the zonal marking on Arsenal, and they've just floated it in, and Lascelles is completely spare. He's probably the best header of the ball.
Not sure how you can leave him unmarked like that, but there we go. 10 minutes played, 0-0. Another corner for Newcastle. Again, Ritchie will deliver. This time he goes short to Murphy. Laid back out. Back wide to Ritchie again on that far touchline. On his left boot, swings one in. Oh, lovely ball in! Just chasing round the back and trying to get there. On the near side was Fernandez again. Delightful ball in from Ritchie. There were 3 black and white shirts that had beaten the offside trap, all charging through. They were all played onside. In fact, played onside in the end by Xhaka. And they've got themselves another corner here after an error by Petr Cech. 10.5 minutes into the game, the pressure's on Arsenal.
Yeah, and how many times we've seen that from Matt Ritchie last season and this season, where they've said inverted winners coming in on their strong foot, whipping in the ball like that is so hard to defend. And look, we've just seen there again Petr Cech, who's just so uncomfortable with playing out deep in his own box.
Simple back pass from Mustafi, couldn't deal with it. Lascelles again wins another head around the back. That's clearly an area that Newcastle have looked at with this Arsenal defence and feel they can exploit, and Lascelles is doing it very well. Offside back up against Perez there as he got through. It was decent defending actually by Socrates in the end, but the flag was already up against the former Tenerife player for an offside decision. Once the ball was played through, and a correct one as well. Yeah,
definitely, and he's probably got the slickest hair in the Premier League. It's never out of place.
Here on the near side is Guendouzi with the ball. Forward down the right hand side to Bellerin. Lovely first time touch to Mesut Ozil. Across to try and challenge and put some pressure on him was Federico Fernandez. Signed from Swansea, of course, played with Rafa at Napoli. He's dislodged Kieran Clark from the back line, and of course they've been upset in that back line with that injury to Thauvin. Once on this near side, it's Lejeune, shall I say. Back again once more in the heart of the Arsenal half with Mustafi, who takes a little stick for his ability to defend, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And probably Koscielny's been a bit of a miss, because he ended up being Arsenal's probably better defender, and Mustafi's had to step up to the plate. He not really has done at the end of last season and this season.
On that far side, Ramsey just trying to get through with the ball. Last time we've really seen him in the game, and he's lost possession. Good challenge by Matt Ritchie.
But going back to Mustafi, I think what doesn't help him is that Berlin is so high and wide all the time, and very rarely covers him when he's in there. It doesn't help him at all.
Early ball chipped forward to chase for Perez on that far side. And Jose Perez doing well. Socrates is across again and concedes yet another corner. This will be the 4th one for Newcastle United, and we're only 13 minutes into the game. They've had the average lowest possession in the Premier League this season with only around 30%, but they've started on the front foot and like a train here. Still 0-0 though. Ritchie on that wonderful left foot of his, looking to swing this one in. Lascelles again will be the target, and he got a flick on it, but it's headed clear from the edge of the 6-yard box. It's pushed forward again down that right hand side by Yedlin. Chance here to deliver by Ritchie towards the back post, and Bellerin's there. And he was looking to try and find the head once more of Perez, but the free kick's been given.
Yeah, very interesting that corner. That's the first one they've done near post, and that's his sign, Matt Ritchie, that the team does. He puts his palm to his chest. That's the near post run, and they've attacked it, and they've nearly got a flick on it.
Matt Ritchie, of course, signed from Bournemouth for £12 million. He missed that game against Man City with a knee injury. He did score though in that win against Arsenal. The ball back at the feet of Petr Cech inside his penalty area, and you heard the crowd, and that will probably start to rattle him as a goalkeeper as well. Every time he's got the ball, the crowd will jeer because they know he feels uncomfortable in possession. He got away with it this time, although Lascelles has nodded that down. Ramsey on towards Lacazette towards the edge of the penalty area. Here's Mesut Ozil, 25 yards from goal. Bellerin bursting inside the penalty area, tries to pull it across. The challenge from Dummett, then spins up, hits the chest of Bellerin, and goes out of play for a goal kick on this near side. 14.5 minutes played here, 0-0.
Yeah, that's his strength. Berlin going forward, getting to the byline, trying to cut it back. It's unlucky he just ricocheted back off him for a goal kick. But 15 minutes gone nearly and not a shot yet by Arsenal.
I've not been anywhere near Dubravka's goal so far. This is probably more what the faithful around St James's Park, the baying Geordies, have wanted to see. Forward by Dubravka, of course, who came in January last season and did a terrific job. He's only appeared once against Arsenal before, and that was that game in April. He was victorious on that occasion. His 17th consecutive Premier League start in goal for Newcastle. And he got the better of Darlow and Rob Elliott as well. Plenty of good goalkeepers within the Newcastle United ranks, but undoubtedly Dubravka, with his 5 clean sheets in that period, looks to be the best of the bunch. Here's a free kick for Newcastle on halfway. It's going to be taken by Lascelles, the captain, signed of course in that joint deal with Carl Darlow from Nottingham Forest. It's towards the edge of the penalty area. Flick on is one. Perez inside the box, just got the other side of Bellerin and did well. Here's Murphy towards the byline. He's just hurried out, was he, and he puts the ball out of play for what will be a goal kick away to our left hand side for Arsenal.
Yeah, good covering defensive midfield play by Guendouzi there. He's got past Berlin, and that's the position. If you're a defensive midfielder, that's the position you cover, in between the centre back and the right full back. You don't want your centre back coming out there, you just fill in gaps.
16 minutes played here, Newcastle 0, Arsenal 0. Better check with the goal kick. Doesn't play it out short, goes long to try and find Lacazette. The army goes up to try and win the header in the middle of the park. Towards Ozil it goes, but nicely won by Hayden. On the right hand side now is Bellerin. First time bouncing ball played forward to try and find the run that had been made by Ramsey, but Dummett does well. Out of play for a throw on this near side to Arsenal. Level with the 6-yard box. 16 and a half minutes played. We're going to Stamford Bridge in a moment. Chelsea, 100% record, 4 wins out of 4 so far. They're entertaining Cardiff, and Neil Warnock today, of course, will be there in a moment for the opening goal of the game. Ramsey just dispossessed by Diame, but does well to get it back. Now inside the penalty area, here's Lacazette, being tracked all the time by Lascelles. Ball whipped towards that back post, looked like a dangerous one for a moment from Matteo Guendouzi, but it's out of play, and it will be a goal kick to Newcastle away to our right hand side. To Stamford Bridge we go then. Chelsea against Cardiff, commentary from Russell Hargreaves.
Ball headed across, great opportunity, and there's a huge shot because Cardiff City have taken the lead, and it's the man who missed that great chance moments ago, Sol Bamba, who scores. Brilliant free kick. Chelsea's defenders statuesque, the ball nodded across, and there was Sol Bamba, and he's stuck it in the net. Scenes of pandemonium at the visiting end. What a shock on the cards. Chelsea 0, Cardiff 1.
Well, you'd love to see Neil Warnock's face after that went in as well from Sol Bamba. Terrific start for Cardiff then. Sarri with some problems to deal with for the first time really as Chelsea boss. Petr Cech again with the ball at feet inside his penalty area. Immediately he's converged on by 2 black and white shirts, but he gets a decent clearance in this time up to halfway, where it's headed clear by Lascelles, and it'll be a throw in on that far side for Arsenal. Is it wrong to ask a goalkeeper who looks and feels so uncomfortable at doing this to keep doing it?
Yeah, because that's his philosophy, and really Petr Cech probably won't be there next season, so he's getting his defenders used to it, and they're probably looking at another keeper in this January transfer window because he believes in it. Petr Cech's trying to do it, he's not comfortable with it, but as a manager, and if you've got your philosophy and sticks to it, they have to do it.
But then why go out and buy Leno if you're not going to use him, because clearly he's got that ability. That's why Emery wanted him.
Yeah, do you know what? It's a position that struggles for the first 6 months in the Premier League is foreign goalkeepers like De Gea you see at Man United, so maybe it's that thinking, getting him used to it.
Monreal tries to play a ball down the corner. It's well blocked out by DeAndre Yedlin, but it does spin behind for Arsenal's first corner of the game here. 19 minutes on the clock. It's 0-0 at St James's Park, and here's a chance for Arsenal then to try and test out Martin Dubravka. It's going to be taken on that far side by Mesut Ozil. Socrates and Mustafi are up there as left-footed Ozil does swing it, looking to try and find a run that was being made, you feel, by Bellerin, but it's not the best of deliveries in that respect because Bellerin couldn't get there. Bellerin will lay it back to, on this near side, Guendouzi, who's being chased and harried all the time here by Perez, and go all the way back to Petr Cech, who's 5 yards outside the edge of his own penalty area, and he'll give that ball short on the left-hand side to Granit Xhaka, who's closed down and pressurised by Murphy, but illegally, according to the assistant on the far side, and that's going to be a free kick to Arsenal. Taken quickly. Mesut Ozil has it. Edge of the centre circle. This is TalkSports coverage of Newcastle United against Arsenal. Here is Lacazette drilling that ball in first time. Beaten to it by Federico at the second attempt, who clears it. Oh, there's a slip at the back this time, and no surprise, it's by Mustafi, charging forward inside the penalty area. Across comes Socrates and does the hard work to deny Murphy, but they have got themselves a corner from it.
And he showed his pace there, Socrates, because Murphy's a very quick player, and he's read the situation. And look, they start similar, they cover it. Mustafi's not covered himself in glory with that one.
Well, the 30-year-old Greek did more than enough there to keep up with Murphy. And of course, he's just 23 years of age. That's really good defending for the Greek international. Mustafi with a mistake, though. Not the first time I think I've ever said that. Almost 21 minutes played. Another corner for Newcastle. Oh, it goes across the penalty area and has to be headed away by Aubameyang. Back into the danger zone, arriving around the back, header across goal. Jack has to palm it away. Only to the edge of the box, though. And Monreal then can get a clearance in, and they look to counter with Mesut Ozil on the near side, and it's nodded away into touch.
That should be a goal. I'm looking to see who's headed it back in. It wasn't a hard header. It's just a square header he has to head. Look, there's two Newcastle players in there. He's got to find them. He's got to find them there.
Murphy has headed that back across the face of goal, and it's then that Petr Cech reaches out with a strong left arm and manages to get it clear. All the action inside that Arsenal half in the opening 21 minutes of this game, but it remains 0-0. At TalkSport Live, if you'd like to get in touch on Twitter throughout the game this afternoon, we'd love to hear from you, we'd love to get your messages. It's the best place as well to get all your football news first, at TalkSport Live. Get following, and then also send us a message. We'd love to know where you're listening around the world today. Goals already then in the games between Chelsea and Cardiff and Man City and Fulham. Shall we add Bournemouth Leicester to the list at the Vitality? Why not? Here's Richard Wolfenden.
He might have something to do now as King comes forward. Here's Fraser. Fraser leaves the penalty area on his right foot. Bends it into the bottom corner. I say Kasper Schmeichel's been quiet, and the first thing he has to do is pick the ball out the back of his net.
He does indeed. Bournemouth leading Leicester by a goal to nil. Lacazette trying to get forward here down this right hand side. Really good sliding challenge from Fernandes to clear it, and the throw in from Arsenal intercepted by Diame, picked up by Mustafi on halfway. We're at the midway point of the first half. Unai Emery just barking down this right hand side at Hector Bellerin for wasting that Arsenal throw in. They've found themselves forced back inside their own half again, and it's Guendouzi back into Socrates. Xhaka coming in between the two centre-halves to pick up the ball. Now Mesut Ozil trying to get away. Flicked by Lacazette, lay off by Ramsey. It's intricate, it's worked, because the Frenchman's still got the ball, but he loses out to Diame and then to Hayden. And now down this left-hand side it's Murphy. Murphy just lays that ball off short to Hosselu. Now charging down this left-hand side is Dummett coming forward. Once more to Murphy, who's 7 or 8 yards outside the penalty area on this near touchline. Oh, and his ball in field to Hosselu is a poor one. And it's straight to the feet of Mustafi, and now Ozil, who then tries to send Aubameyang away through the middle. Aubameyang gets back, and so does Federico Fernandes with a wonderful challenge.
All coming from Murphy's ball, which I think was a good ball. Hosselu didn't read the pass. Murphy's gave it the eyes, the ball's round the corner, and he's not squared up and got hold of it.
This might be a bit too open for Rafa Benitez's liking, but at the moment it's making for a decent game of football. Diame with a foul. The referee said play on. He had his whistle to his lips, and Guendouzi's down, but he is now up and about. And then there's another foul this time, and it's Matt Ritchie with the challenge this time on Lacazette. Plenty of words from Matt Ritchie for the rest of his midfield there, no doubt about that. 24 minutes gone, it's 0-0.
I'm not a lip reader, but I think he said please stop giving the ball away. It's sort of like that.
Terrific challenge by Federico Fernandes to deny Aubameyang. Free kick for Arsenal. We'll head to the Etihad again in a moment. Already Man City leading there 2 minutes in. That goal from Leroy Sané back for Pep Guardiola's side after the international break, of course. He's celebrating the birth of his child, having fallen out with Yogilo. That's whipped into the penalty area. Here's Lacazette, ball at feet, trying to turn in the box, out wide on the left. Lacazette into the side netting, never troubling Dubravka. And with 25 minutes played, it's 0-0. So let's get to the Etihad Stadium. Then Man City against Fulham. City were 1-up last time we were with Andrew Self.
Back it goes to Fernandinho. Clip ball forecourt, has to head it away, but only as far as the apex of his own penalty area to Sterling. Sterling feeds it into Bernardo Silva. Good strength by the young man. Rolls it back. Could this be 2 jumps for David Silva? It is 2. Aguero with the first shot. Goal number 50 for David Silva.
Milestone for David Silva then in a Manchester City shirt, and 2-0 at the Champions League. Looks like it's going to be a tricky afternoon for Ikanovic's Fulham side, as you tend to find it is for most newly promoted sides when they travel to the Etihad. 20 minutes remaining in the first half here. Newcastle 0, Arsenal 0. So in all about Newcastle really. Certainly looking the more attacking and threatening of the two sides. Murphy holds that ball up well. Back to Diab, out wide to the right hand side to Yedlin. Plenty of pace for DeAndre Yedlin, but not a chance to show it there. He goes back to halfway, and the Searles will pick up the ball. Ball floated down the line to Ritchie, who chests it down, and this time it's him that concedes possession to Monreal. And then forward down that left hand side is Aubameyang. On a run inside the penalty area is Lacazette. Also on a charge is Mesut Ozil. Terrible ball from Aubameyang into the hands of Dubravka, and that's going to be Newcastle's chance to clear. And it is end-to-end stuff at the moment, because Diaby's gone direct here down this left-hand side to Murphy, who is away again. Oh, in fact, it's Perez this time. Perez inside the penalty area. Mustafi's there with him. Perez still going, and this time round Mustafi does make the challenge and concedes the throw on this near side.
Yeah, he done well. He kept his eye on the ball like he should do as a defender. He's got his foot in, but just looking at the two sides, Newcastle just seem so much physically bigger on set pieces. You got the whole back four, probably 6 foot or plus, and they've got the Army and they've got Hayden, not including the forwards. The last set piece that Arsenal sent in there, not much physical presence about them at all. Not even the 2 centre backs are that big.
And Diamo's just nutmegged Xhaka at the edge of the penalty area, but it came to nothing as his pathway was blocked. It is a throw for Newcastle, 10 yards inside their own half. A reminder elsewhere, Bournemouth lead Leicester by a goal to nil. It's Chelsea 0, Cardiff 1, Man City 2, Fulham 0. Probably no great surprise that it's Huddersfield 0, Crystal Palace 0. Newcastle and Huddersfield, the two teams have created the second fewest chances in the Premier League this season, although Newcastle have tried to do something about that today. Aubameyang's away on the far side, up against Yedlin, who's got plenty of pace, and the former Tottenham man can deal with that quite comfortably, and the flag is up anyway for a free kick to Newcastle midway inside their own half. We've got 17 and a half minutes remaining in the first half at St James's Park, where it remains Newcastle 0, Arsenal 0. Just having a look, thanks for some of your messages. Stephen Powell is listening in the Arizona desert. I think he agrees with you, Mark. He says it's going to be a long season for his Gooners. Probably not expecting too much, you would feel. At TalkSport Live on Twitter if you would like to get in touch. You can join us at any point, of course. I'd love to hear your comments. Hussein says, I expect Arsenal versus Newcastle will be a tight affair, but Arsenal should get all 3 points. I thought we might see some goals this afternoon. A dodgy defence, Newcastle trying to go on the attack, and not really that sound at the back as well, but at the moment it's still goalless. Fernandez here in a race against Lacazette. Lacazette probably just about won that one, but the ball has spun nicely to Dubravka, and he will clear first time away to our right hand side. That's a helpful flick as well. Ritchie's away. He and Perez almost got in each other's way. The attempted cross is half blocked by Monreal, and then cleared away from inside the penalty area by Mustafi, and now up the line by Xhaka, and the build-up play just trying to bring Ramsey into the game on that far touchline, but Newcastle have it once more, given away this time by Hosselu, and now picked up again by Federico Fernandez, who seems to have come a long way forward. Diame then tries to switch play from the right to the left, and he gets the applause because the idea was good, the execution a little off though.
Yeah, it was a little off. If he was kicking for touching rugby, that would have been a good ball. But Fernandez has made 2 perfectly timed tackles. If he misjudged them by a fraction of a second, they're 2 red cards in one game. So, like, brilliant maybe a bit fortunate on one of them.
Oh, that's a lovely ball through to Aubameyang on that far side from Lacazette. Out wide on the left-hand side edge of the penalty area, tries to get an early cross in. Lacazette was waiting. Bellerin was in there too. Tries to pick out Ramsey this time, and very well headed away by the former Arsenal youth man, Isaac Hayden. He played a couple of League Cup ties for them. Never got an appearance in the Premier League, and he's there to block that attempted Arsenal cross this time round. Monreal with a throw on that far side. Arsenal in their usual red shirts with the white sleeves, the white shorts and the red socks. It's the traditional black and white stripes for the Toonari, of course. 15 minutes remaining in the first half, goalless. And Arsenal with possession. And it's with Mustafi. Over halfway. Come to believe they paid 35 million for him from Valencia, of course. Diame, much maligned and criticised as Dummett goes back to Dubravka, who is comfortable with the ball at feet as he chips the ball to Yedlin on that far side, who's got plenty of room to run into here. In fact, he's already travelled about 30 or 40 yards, completely unchallenged. Gives it to Ritchie on that far side, on his left foot into Hayden. Then Diame, who's overhit another ball to the far touchline, but this time he does find the chest of Yedlin out on that right-hand side. He's closed down by Monreal, then by Aubameyang. And now Ritchie again, lovely ball to Yedlin. Yedlin with a cross this time, into the 6-yard box, Bellerin up in the air and behind the goal and out for yet another corner for Newcastle.
Yeah, that's Yedlin's strength going forward. Sometimes very, very similar to what Carl Walker was a couple of years ago. Great going forward, can switch off defending sometimes, but great ball in the box and another corner.
It is, and another opportunity for Ritchie to exploit this porous Arsenal defence. Yet to keep a clean sheet this season. And you feel the Arsenal teams of the past, that was the foundation on which they were built. Not anymore. Ritchie, edge of the 6-yard box, so it's flicked on and down, I think, from Fernandes, and looks like it's flicked off an Arsenal head as well, because it's out for another corner for Newcastle, this time to be delivered on the left-hand side for them. So it'll be an outswinger from Matt Ritchie, who trudges across to take it on this near touchline. 13 minutes remaining in the first half. 0-0, corner number 7 already for Newcastle in these opening exchanges. John Joe Selby just giving Ritchie a bit of advice on this near side. This one is floated towards the back post again. Fernandes tried to get up to win it. Instead it's picked up by Hayden, who's just caught as he made that header. Fernandes has it, and he's now going to swing that ball in on his right foot. Diame was about to try an acrobatic overhead. It's taken a flick, and I think there was a shove as well in the penalty area at the time, and that will give a free kick to Arsenal and a chance to clear lines.
Yeah, if you look on it, there's 32 minutes gone, and Newcastle, I know they're the home team, but they've been the better team. Arsenal's not really had a shot on target, I don't think.
There's a chance maybe for Arsenal to come forward here. The ball by Ramsey was intercepted. It's out wide though to Monreal, who's 30 yards from goal. Oh, lovely interplay between Lacazette and Ramsey, who was level with the edge of the 6-yard box on the angle and has somehow just lifted that ball out of play and straight into touch for a goal kick to Newcastle. What an opportunity wasted.
He has to cut it back to Mesut Ozil there.
I thought it might have bobbled, but I'm not. There's no bobble there. No,
he's come off his shin. I don't know how he's done that. It's like a sliding shin, and he's put it over the bar. Where if Mesut Ozil was in acres of space just for a little cutback there, which would have been Arsenal's first shot on target and probably their goal.
20-odd appearances last season and was named as Player of the Year off the back of 21 appearances for Arsenal. It was another season that was cut out a little by injury. 5-year contract is on the table for him, but he's not signed it yet. You wonder if he'll be heading abroad maybe. A pre-agreement come January. Magpies, of course, looks like he's going to arrive at AC Milan, so it wouldn't surprise me if Ramsey ended up there.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's a quality player, Ramsey. He's been so unlucky with injuries over the year. He probably would have got to greater heights if he just could keep healthy, but he has had some bad injuries, had some niggling injuries, but they're just not connecting at the minute, Arsenal. And that final third, when they've got in there, it's the final pass of the final ball's been sloppy.
Unai Emery, his Sevilla side beat Rafa's Real Madrid back in 2015, one of the rare times they've come head to head. prior to today. It's Benitez looking for his 50th win as Newcastle manager today. And if he could achieve it, he'll have won 4 of his last 6 against Arsenal. There's a foul on Diame there. And Lacazette was running in to do the hard work, tracking back, and a real forwards challenge.
Yeah, lucky he did, because Ozil didn't really move there at all when someone was running past him. He literally looked at Lacazette run past him and track him.
Talking to from Lee Probert for Alexandre Lacazette. Lacazette's probably thinking, well, where's everyone else who's supposed to be doing some of the hard work in there? He's working his socks off so far, that's for sure. Here's the free kick to Newcastle then. Well, it's all of about 40-45 yards out from goal. So Richie will again be looking to float this to the big boys. Lascelles is in there, as is Fernandes, Perez, Diame. They're all lurking at the edge of that penalty area. Richie on his left foot does lift it in to try and get the flick on from Lascelles. He got something on it but not enough. It looked like it may have been a shoulder, and then dumb it, ball volley it clear from halfway as the ball was headed well away from the Arsenal penalty area that time. 9.5 minutes remaining in this first half. Bournemouth leading Leicester elsewhere by 1-0. Chelsea 0, Cardiff 1, of course. Chelsea looking for 5 out of 5 on the victory front at the start of this Premier League campaign. Man City leading Fulham by 2-0, and goalless at the John Smiths between Huddersfield and Crystal Palace. And that's with Zaha back in the side today for Crystal Palace. Here's a chance maybe at the edge of the penalty area for Arsenal for Aubameyang, but it's well read by Federico Fernandes, who I've been pretty impressed by a lot of times for Swansea. He looked decidedly average, but he's looked very impressive so far in this Newcastle United back line today. Here's Bellerin on the right hand side for Arsenal. He's got more defending to do now. Bellerin towards the angle of the penalty area. Dummett just stands him up and he's forced back to Guendouzi, and now it's Xhaka who goes sideways to Socrates, who's coming forward on that left hand side. I was very pleased when he decided he'd like to be called Socrates.
Yeah, so light today.
Monreal on that far side, and he goes back to the Greek centre half again. Now it's Xhaka to Monreal once more. Here's Mesut Ozil just walking around in midfield. Mesut Ozil. Guendouzi's ball forward. There's a foul there, and it was on Lacazette. I think had come short. Challenge from Mo Diame. Did send him up in the air. I think he claims he got the ball first. I'm not sure he got any of the ball.
No, he got both his ankles. Yeah. He got both his ankles first. Yeah, clever by Lacazette. He's used Diame's pace in shutting the ball down to just roll him and get the free kick.
2 goals in his 14 previous appearances against Arsenal for Mo Diame. This is his 22nd game that he started in 2018. Every single one of them he's been picked by Rafa Benitez for this Newcastle side. Here's the free kick. Xhaka in with his left foot, and it's away by Diame. Who else? There is Xhaka again. His pass is back to Cech under pressure at the edge of the box, and he gets rid of it quickly. Almost falls off his feet at the time. He's given it back by Guendouzi, and listen to the supporters. Murphy closes him down, and he has to clear eventually, only as far as Lascelles, who wins a good header. Richie goes up against Monreal and wins it. Picked up by Socrates, 7 or 8 yards outside his own box. And Xhaka then goes square to Mustafi. Mustafi down the right hand side. Here is Bellerin. Bellerin infield to Guendouzi again. He then goes forward to Bellerin. Nice football. A little turn that time from Ozil. Just took him away from Hayden. And now on once more to Xhaka. Wide on the left hand side is Monreal. Monreal into the feet of Ramsey. Ramsey at the byline. Gets it over. Bellerin's arriving. Can't get there with a header. It's away on this near side by DeAndre Yedlin. Not sure quite what he's doing over this side, but he's there with the header this time round. Picked up by Guendouzi, back as far as Mustafi. Nice football from Arsenal. Just the final product letting them down. And talking of final product, that ball to Ozil was poor, and they gave possession away, but Newcastle have returned it almost immediately. And Monreal has it on the far side. We've got goals to bring you from the Vitality and Stamford Bridge in a moment, but Arsenal are just having a decent spell of possession here and look threatening. 6 minutes remaining, 0-0, and it's on this near side. There's 6 minutes remaining in the first half, should I say. There is Yedley gets it away to the chest of Ritchie on that far side, loses possession, header won there by Dummett, and it looks like they've swapped the fullbacks. Dummett has gone to right back and DeAndre Yedlin to left back.
I thought it was because of the set piece and the way they was marking zonal, they've not had a chance to get back over.
Could well be. Here is Dummett, he's going to clear this time. I'd have thought they'd have had plenty of opportunity to in the last 2.5-3 minutes, but they seem to be comfortable staying there at the moment. As that one comes wide on that far side. Yep, Dummett has stayed out wide once more, and he's going to try and close down Aubameyang on that far side. And it's back to Guendouzi. If you've got two that are quite comfortable in that position, then I suppose there's no great harm in it. As down this near side again, it's Bellerin. Bellerin just charging forward here, trying to get away that time from Perez, who tracked his run all the way, but Bellerin did well. Xhaka out to Monreal on that far side. He's closed down this time by Ritchie, and then by Dummett, who's followed the run of Ramsey. Keeping the ball really nicely here at the moment, Arsenal. Newcastle unable to get near it at all. Here's Guendouzi in the middle. Just gives that one short to Lacazette, who's come to get involved, and now he goes to Xhaka, and he can hit them as we know. Edge of the box, Ozil lets it run towards Lacazette. Bellerin cuts it across the face of goal, and it's half cleared by Diame, comes down towards Lacazette, and then at the edge of the box, Guendouzi tries to win it, he can't, and now Dummett will bring Newcastle on the counter, with Perez inside the centre circle, Ritchie out wide to the right. That was the cry for the pass, it didn't come, and Socrates steams in with an excellent challenge to deny them. Let's get some of these goals from elsewhere to the Vitality. Bournemouth against Leicester, Richard Wolfenden.
It has been obvious that Leicester have more chances, but it's Bournemouth who've made the difference. It's played through here from Wilson, plays it for two, relates a Schmeichel, and 2-0 to Bournemouth.
2-0 then to Bournemouth in the game between Bournemouth and Leicester. Let's quickly get to Stamford Bridge. Chelsea against Cardiff. Russell Hargreaves.
Also very good with the ball at his feet. Another 1-2. Great move from Hazard, who beats Bennett. Here's Eden Hazard. That's a brilliant goal from Eden Hazard. Buries it into the net. The little Belgian with his third of the season already. And Chelsea having huffed and puffed after going behind, get back on level terms. Sweeping team move.
1-1 then at Stamford Bridge. Sarri's side back in it. Here's Newcastle on the attack. Mustafi heads that one away, and there's a foul there by Isaac Hayden, and that was on Ramsey in the middle of the park. Ball moving as Arsenal try to take it quickly, means we can get to the John Smith Huddersfield Palace. Dan McCarthy.
1-1 against Hadagiono. Zaha does really well, breaks into the box. What a finish that is from Wilfred Zaha. He's back in the lineup for Crystal Palace, and he's back amongst the goals for his third of the season. The magic man for the South London club puts them 1-0 ahead. One-man
team, there's no two ways about it. Palace leading against Huddersfield then. You miss nothing really here. Diame has possession for Newcastle, just outside the edge of the penalty area. We will be going to the Vitality in a moment for that game between Bournemouth against Leicester. We just heard Bournemouth go 2 up. I believe there's a penalty. It's Bellerin though who has possession here at the moment for Arsenal, and now it's picked up by Perez, who's on a run towards the edge of the penalty area. Perez then just too much on the pass. Hosselu can't get there. Check will collect inside his 6-yard box. Penalty then to Bournemouth. Richard Wolfenden.
It'll be Josh King against Kasper Schmeichel. He sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, and just before half time in the 41st minute, it's Bournemouth 3, Leicester City 0. 3 shots on target, clinical by the Cherries.
Eddie Howe's side absolutely running riot at the Vitality Stadium. They were unlucky in some ways against Chelsea a fortnight ago, unbeaten prior to that of course, but looking like securing another victory today. Well in front at half-time against Claude Puel's Leicester at the Vitality. 2 minutes remaining at St James's Park. Newcastle 0, Arsenal 0 at the end of this first half. Here's Bellerin cutting inside. Got the pace to take him there, then lays off to Mesut Ozil, who's 25 yards from goal. Lacazette, well, I mean, that's criminal. A slow rolling ball towards him, he just misses his touch, and it's out for a throw to Newcastle on this near side.
I think that sort of sums up the first half. It's not been a great. I think each team might have had one shot each. I think the quality in the final third, you expect better from Premier League players. The final pass, the final cross has been poor.
Lovely touch from Ritchie in the centre circle, and it's a beautiful ball down this left hand side. Hosselu's going to get there first. He's being tracked all the way by Mustafi. He's done well to win the ball here. Hosselu gets it across the face of goal, and Riley in the back post again is Ritchie, and he's poleaxed Monreal from behind with his elbow as he tried to get in for the header, and the free kick goes Arsenal's way.
Mustafi seems to get out-muscled on the ball that was 60-40 in his favour there, and Hosselu is don't look like the strongest player in the world.
Mustafi went to the ground very easily. Hardly a touch from Hosselu on the replay, but Richie does just arrive, and as he heads the ball, he does clatter the back of Monreal.
Good defending from Monreal at the back post. He could see Richie coming, and he sort of stood his ground and knew the foul was coming.
It's all deep inside his own half with some possession there for Arsenal. He's forced back towards his own goal, but he did well. Here's Monreal on the far touchline. Arsenal just having a little more of the ball in the last 10 or 15 minutes. It's launched forward though towards Lacazette, who gets a flick, and it's into the arms away to our right hand side of Dubravka. Another goal at Stamford Bridge between Chelsea and Cardiff for Russell Hargreaves.
Alonso to Pedro, exchange of passes. Hazard looks for another and he's scored. It takes a deflection, and it's the deflection that puts the ball past Etheridge.
Hazard then doing the hard work to make it 2-1 then to Chelsea against Cardiff, having gone behind early in that game at Stamford Bridge. We've had the 45 minutes here, and we're not going to have any added time at all. The end of the first half, in which Newcastle dominated early on, plenty of opportunities, plenty of corners as well, but yet to really test out Petr Cech so far. Just one moment he had to claw the ball away from the edge of his 6-yard area, up the other end. Dubravka's not been called on either, but it's an entertaining half of football, and no surprise probably at St James's Park. It finishes Newcastle 0, Arsenal 0. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Premier League football is a truly global game, and TalkSport is the global audio partner of the Barclays Premier League.
It's a massive goal!
With live commentary of all 380 matches this season, available at TalkSport.com in English, Spanish or Mandarin every weekend.
What a goal! What a fantastic strike!
The event horizon of world-class football. Visit TalkSport.com to find out more.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSports International Service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
A line of bodies along the edge of the 6-yard box. Ericsson just rifles it in, and Harry Kane is there to head in almost on the goal line. More Premier League goals in a calendar year than any other player in history.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Edge of the box is Solanke. Through to Mo Salah! Who scores? Number 32! Mo Salah, the record breaker for Liverpool!
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league. Premier League Live. Brought to you by TalkSport Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the Ultimate Football Fan Tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor.
The Premier League Preview Show with TalkSport.
Sanchez wants runners. There's 6 players on the edge of the area to aim for. One is Smalling! Unbelievable scenes at the Etihad Stadium. It's 3-2 to Manchester United.
TalkSport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
We are joined on the preview show to talk about what has happened at the top of the table in the last few days by our former Premier League winger, Matthew Etherington. Adrian Clark's with us. Chris Iwelumo, fresh from the gym.
Subscribe to the podcast today at TalkSport.com and then hear every kick on Premier League Live.
Oxlade-Chamberlain goes down, but he still finds Salah, who makes it 2 to Liverpool. 1 chance, 1 goal. Number 20 for the Egyptian magician.
Listen to the show on TalkSport.com.
Welcome back to the game between Newcastle and Arsenal at St James's Park, courtesy of TalkSports coverage here on Premier League Live. A goalless opening 45 minutes here, but plenty of drama and plenty of goals in our other 3 o'clock UK time kickoffs this afternoon. Let's get the story of the first 45 minutes.
another corner which Milner takes again, and there's the header. It's into the back of the net, and Roberto Firmino gets his goal. Lovely and swinging corner. Leicester statuesque at the back, and Firmino from distance guides the header into the corner. Schmeichel can't keep it out.
Bettinelli has saved once from the spot against Pascal Gross. Can Glenn Murray score for Brighton? Indeed he can. Parity at the Amex. It's 2 apiece.
Last 6 minutes or so. Here's Hazard! No need to hang on now. Eden Hazard makes it 2 for Chelsea.
Højbjerg's got Hennessy in a goal. Højbjerg finishes in it.
Into the penalty area. There's a header, and it's in. Calvert-Lewin, an immediate response. Dominic Calvert-Lewin
Has Adama Traore on the overlap. He's in the area. Traore, right at the death, makes it 1-0 to Wolves.
To Kyle Walker from distance. Kyle Walker. Oh, what a strike, and what a goal from Kyle Walker.
Here's Lacazette. Oh, it's a wonderful goal. Picked up the ball from Torreira, and he's absolutely lashed it with his right foot high into the net. And Arsenal have gone in front for a third time.
To Lingard. Lingard's shot is blocked. Lukaku follows up. Manchester United 2-0 up. It's 2 for Lukaku. It's 2 for United. Rashford is sent off. Stupid, really. The side are 2-0 up. He's on as a substitute. He's barely been on 10 minutes.
And Newson's himself in the middle as well as the cross comes in. Oh, and it turned in. Great Cathcart wheels away in celebration. Watford incredibly have turned this one around. They've come back from behind and lead against Tottenham with victory now in their sights. They try and make it 4 from 4.
Now, of course, observers amongst you there would realise that wasn't the highlights of the opening 45 minutes this afternoon. It was actually the best bits from a fortnight ago of game week 4, as if you hadn't had enough goals in the opening 45 minutes. Shall we try now for the highlights of the first half?
What a break now. Fernandinho. Can he get it across? Sane for 1-0. It's 1-0.
Ball headed across. Great opportunity, and there's a huge shock because Cardiff City have taken the lead, and it's the man who missed that great chance moments ago. Sol Bamba who scored.
Here's Fraser, and there's the penalty area on his right foot. Bends it into the bottom corner. I say Kasper Schmeichel's been quiet, and the first thing he has to do is pick the ball out the back of his net.
Good strength by the young man. Rolls it back. Could this be 2 jump for David Silva? It is 2. Goal number 50 for David Silva.
Ball at feet trying to turn in the box. Out wide on the left. Lacazette into the side netting.
Fraser for 2. Relays to Schmeichel. And 2-0 to Bournemouth. And it's Ryan Fraser who gets his second goal of the game. Here's Eden Hazard. That's a brilliant goal from Eden Hazard. Buries it into the net.
The little Belgian with his third of the season already. 1-1 against Hanagiona. Zaha does really well. Breaks into the box. What a finish that is from Wilfred Zaha.
It'll be Josh King against Kasper Schmeichel. He sends the goalkeeper the wrong way.
Alonso to Pedro, exchanging passes. Hazard looks for another, and he's scored. It takes a deflection, and it's the deflection that puts the ball past Etheridge.
That's more like it. Sounds a bit familiar. The half-time scores then in today's games in the Premier League. Bournemouth lead Leicester by 3-0. It's Chelsea 2, Cardiff 1, Huddersfield 0, Crystal Palace 1. Zahari's back and Palace are scoring goals. And Man City 2, Fulham 0. Goalless here at St James's Park. And a reminder that earlier Liverpool were 2-1 victors against Spurs at Wembley. 5 wins out of 5 for Liverpool. Mark, the first half, how do we sum up that performance from firstly Newcastle?
Newcastle will probably be the happier of the two teams. Arsenal got back into it the last 10 minutes of the first half, but they started well. They've had a lot of corners, and that, I think that's going to be the main way that Newcastle's going to score in this game is set pieces, because they're physically bigger than Arsenal, and they probably think they can take advantage of that. If Arsenal step it up a gear, they will win this game. But it's the quality in the final third has been poor, and you're not used to that from Arsenal teams.
Both sides look really dangerous on the break, don't they? It has at times been where you punch, I punch, like you say, but without that final bit of quality that unlocks the defence.
Yeah, it's I think both teams have one shot on target, and I think that comes out. I'll just hopefully they get into half time, and then one team will give it a right go in the second half. I think it would be Arsenal. As I said, they got stronger in that last 10 minutes of the first half, and I think they will come out and give it a go in the second half.
when you need that bit of quality in that final ball, if you're Newcastle, you're probably looking at Shelby and Rondon to provide it, aren't you?
Yeah, you are, and hopefully games are won off the bench, and you look at the quality on the two benches. Hopefully we get 6 personally. It'd be nice to see some attacking going on.
Anyway, the thoughts of Mark Bircham, more for him to come in the second half. When we're done today, Watford put their 100% record on the line. They take on Manchester United at Vicarage Road. Jose's been feisty this week. He's come out fighting. Let's hear from Javi Gracia and Jose Maria.
We can achieve the 5th win in a row. I think it's important because there are 3 points we want to get.
For matches, 12 points. We know that 3 of these matches were at home, so in relation to the 12 points, maybe we can speak about a little advantage, but fantastic start.
I think it's the mentality of the players in this moment. Try to win the next 3 points and playing against United or next one against Fulham and so on.
The ones that wake up in the morning and the first thing that comes into their minds is Jose Mourinho and Manchester United. I feel sorry for them because there are much more interesting things to wake up and to be happy in the morning than to speak immediately about us and about football.
Looking forward to that one later. Watford looking for 5 straight wins, of course, at the start of that Premier League campaign. Manchester United are in town with Jose, and he's come out fighting this week about Rashford and everything else. Franny Benali and Tom Rennie will guide you through that one, 5:30 UK time. When we come back, we've got the second half. This is Premier League Live.
Premier League preview show with TalkSport.
Sanchez wants runners. There's 6 players on the edge of the area to aim for. One is Smalling! Unbelievable scenes at the Etihad Stadium. It's 3-2 to Manchester United.
TalkSport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Southampton struggling down the bottom. We're joined by a survivor of their great escape team in 1999, Francis Bernali. Former Bluebirds defender Danny Gabardon joins us on the Premier League preview show.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com and then hear every kick on Premier League Live.
Oxlade-Chamberlain goes down, but he still finds Salah, who makes it 2 to Liverpool. 1 chance, 1 goal, number 20 for the Egyptian magician.
Listen to the show on talksport.com.
Go to talksport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click talksport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the ultimate football fan tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at talksport.com/predictor.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSports International Service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
A line of bodies along the edge of the 6-yard box. Ericsson just rifles it in, and Harry Kane is there to head in, almost on the goal line. More Premier League goals in a calendar year than any other player in history.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Edge of the box is Solanke. Through to Mo Salah! Who scores? Number 32! Mo Salah, the record breaker for Liverpool!
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league. Premier League Live. Brought to you by TalkSport Live.
There's more to life than football, money and fun. Well, not much. Kick off the new season with TalkSport's £1 million predictor game.
Register now at talksport.com/predictor and play for free throughout the season.
Play it in the van. Play it on the can. Play it with your gran.
Win £1 million sterling.
It's the biggest prize in the history of TalkSport.
The TalkSport £1 million predictor game. Players must be 18 or over. See talksport.com/predictor for full conditions.
You're listening to TalkSports coverage of Newcastle United against Arsenal from St James's Park. I'm your host, Adam Bridge. Alongside me is the former Millwall Queen's Park Rangers and the Canada midfielder Mark Bircham. This is Premier League Live. Arsenal are back out for the start of the second half. We still await the boys in their black and white stripes. Our referee Lee Probert striding to the middle as well. Let's run you through the two teams then as they return. In fact, Kieran Clark is stripped and ready to come on, as is Lucas Torreira. So we're going to see a couple of changes here, one for each side. And it wouldn't surprise me if it's Lascelles that maybe is departing for Newcastle. He looked to have a slight problem in the first half. We will get a steer on that once we see the fourth officials board, but Torreira is ready to go. We mentioned pre-game as to quite impressive at times for Uruguay in the World Cup, and he's on for Arsenal. Fifth time he's appeared as a substitute. And as I mentioned, Kieran Clark, the former Aston Villa man, the Republic of Ireland centre-half, also about to come out, and it is Jamal Lascelles. That's going to be a big loss for Newcastle, Mark Bircham.
Yeah, both defending and attacking on set pieces, because nearly everything was aimed towards him, it looked like in the first half. But it'd be interesting to see Torreira. They needed something changing, and Spark, we've said, they brought him along. And again, we'll probably see John Joe Shelby, I think, as the game goes, because Diarmi's long-raking passing hasn't really been on the money so far in the first half.
Well, we've not had it confirmed who he's replaced, but I can tell by the lack of hairstyles on show, I think, that the change has been the departure of Guendouzi, because the flowing locks are missing and Lucas Torreira is on. So I'll run you through the confirmation of those lineups in a moment. We are up and running at the start of the second half at St James's Park then, and it's Arsenal who have possession away to our right hand side, and forward comes Socrates with this. Infield he goes to Granit Xhaka, who then demands he sends it down the line, but instead it's given short and back to the Swiss midfielder. And here is Socrates again on this near side for Arsenal. 0-0 at half time. There's two changes then, one for each side. Lascelles will definitely be an injury one. I have no doubt this is a tactical change by Arsenal. On the right is Bellerin. Down the line he goes and finds Mesut Ozil. I wonder if this will be a little change of shape with Torreira maybe just holding a little deeper, or whether it will just be that continued 4-2-3-1 which they started with today. Xhaka, too much on that, clips the heels of Aubameyang on this near side, and out of play for a goal kick. So Dubravka's in goal for Newcastle. Yedlin, Clark, Fernandes and Dummett now. The back line, Ritchie, Hayden, Diame and Murphy in midfield, with Perez and Hosselu up top. As for Arsenal, it's Cech in goal, Bellerin, Mustafi, Socrates and Monreal. Then it's Xhaka and Torreira, with Ramsey, Ozil and Aubameyang playing in behind Lacazette at the start of this second half. Options for both on the bench, of course, but only two left for each side right now, as Federico Fernandez gets that back to Dubravka away to our left hand side. Darlow, Manquillo, Shelby, Kennedy, Ruto and Rondon still available on the bench for Newcastle. Leno, Lichtsteiner, Holding, El Nene, Mkhitaryan and Welbeck available for Unai Emery and Arsenal. 2 minutes into the second half then, Arsenal have it midway inside their own half. Aubameyang just trying to skip forward here, he's under close attention from DeAndre Yedlin. It's picked up again at the edge of his own penalty area by Socrates. Gives it short this time to Granit Xhaka. Xhaka out wide to the right hand side, where he picks out Mustafi, who's engaged on that left hand side by Dummett as Bellerin tried to come forward. There's Torreira pushing the ball out wide. The passing already better from Arsenal in the middle of the park. Good from Torreira into Aubameyang. The foul that time is by Federico Fernandez, and 25 yards out from goal, Arsenal have a free kick.
You see Torreira come on now, and it's a lot more upbeat, a lot more positive with the ball and the pace of it. He's getting on the ball, he's dictating plays, playing around corners, and that was something they weren't doing really in the first half. They did towards the end of the first half, but not at the start of it.
£26 million he cost from Sampdoria. Torreira, 9 international caps to his name, and it's he and Granit Xhaka that are over this free kick. You feel it would be better for the left foot of Granit Xhaka. Aubameyang is in a little bit of discomfort. He's also stood over it, and Lacazette's appeared now as well. And 4 of them look like they're going to have a debate over this, but Torreira has said, look, I've just come on, I'm taking control of this situation. It's probably about 30 yards out from goal, right in the centre. Torreira with his number 11, Xhaka, that left foot, number 34, a whole line of players, in fact everybody else is lined up at the edge of that penalty area as they await the whistle of referee Lee Probert, and it will be Granit Xhaka who's going to hit it! Oh, what a goal that is! Granit Xhaka with that left foot of his into the top corner. It's way beyond Dubravka. Every single Premier League goal that he scores is from outside the blocks, and that could be one of the best. It's an absolute blockbuster from Granit Xhaka, and it's Newcastle 0, Arsenal 1.
It's the technique, they're hitting with the instep of the foot. They called it the wobbler or a knuckle ball, and he's managed to wobble it up and down and dip it in there. A fantastic strike by Xhaka.
Wow, what an effort. His first Premier League goal since December. The 55th start in 56 Premier League games for Granit Xhaka. He's got his knockers, there's no two ways about that. That's more to do with the defensive side of his game, as he is a defensive midfielder. But that left foot of his, boy, has it got some power in it.
Oh, he's got some power, and it'd be interesting now to see what Rafa does, because I was going to say later on in the game, if he was to go a bit more attacking, the 2 defensive midfielders for Arsenal, Xhaka and Torreira, they're not really that defensive. They're not physical. They're not going to be tracking runners. So it'd be an opportunity now for Rafa to make a change and go more attacking.
It was a silly foul to give away by Federico Fernandez, because I'm not sure Aubameyang was really going anywhere at the time. And, well, it certainly cost Newcastle as Arsenal get the lead. And, well, I mean, quite astonishing, really. That is the 9th different goal scorer for Arsenal this season. The 9th goal they've scored, and a 9th different player to score. 5 minutes gone in the second half. Unai Emery is telling someone that 1 is the way, and then there's another one. That makes 2.
I think he was pointing up. I don't know what he was doing there.
Yedlin with a free kick. Not the best of headers that time by Mustafi at the edge of the penalty area. I'm not too sure he worked out where that ball had gone, and nobody else did really, because Newcastle couldn't get there. Richie tries to force it on the near side, but it's well kept in by Lacazette, and now it's Aubameyang that has it. Now Ramsey on this near side. Can they play with some confidence now, Arsenal? They've given it away there to Yedlin. Diame then loses possession and picked up again by Ramsey. On halfway, it's the goal scorer Xhaka, who goes all the way back to Petr Cech, away to our right hand side. Here is Socrates, short to Xhaka. It's back to the feet of Petr Cech again, who feels rather uncomfortable as he plays that out to Mustafi on the far side, who's done well to keep the ball in this time as Mustafi. He goes direct over the top. Oh, a lovely ball for Aubameyang, but his outstretched boot couldn't quite take it under control, and it's collected by Dubravka at the edge of his penalty area.
Great opportunity for Aubameyang. If he could have just plucked it out the area and killed it, it would have been a touch and a lob over the keeper.
Here's Lacazette, gets it forward to Mesut Ozil at the edge of the penalty area. Oh wow, the pass from Mesut Ozil. There were 4 red shirts to aim at, and he's missed them all. Ramsey though has recovered the situation for Arsenal. To Granit Xhaka, now to Mesut Ozil at the edge of the box. Just leaves that to run back towards Ramsey. In from Xhaka. Ramsey again at the edge of the penalty area. Torreira's got one thing on his mind, and that's to shoot, but it's well blocked at the edge of the box by Hayden. And again Newcastle just giving possession away. They've certainly lost something since half-time, Newcastle. And probably the spirit really that's given to them by Lascelles in his captaincy role and his organisation at the back. Because at the moment they're giving the ball away willy-nilly. Here's Bellerin on that far side. Maybe I need to explain that to people around the world who maybe aren't familiar with willy-nilly as a phrase, but here is Socrates, carelessly and all over the place would be the way to describe it. Here is Socrates, who goes wide to the right-hand side where he picks out Mustafi, deep inside his own half. Bellerin comes to pick it up. Torreira's ball over the top, early, towards Lacazette. Kieran Clark does well this time. More perhaps by luck than judgment. Oh, Dubravka's had a touch and is closed down by Aubameyang and almost got caught. Dummett's header into the middle as towards Diame, and Kieran Clark will just pump it clear on this near side and into touch and the home support not happy. Another goal at the Etihad for Andrew Self.
We're seeing a break forward with Sergio Aguero cutting in from the right-hand side as they attack the goal to one of my left. Aguero taking on Mawson, down to dead ball right across the face of goal. 1 yard out, Raheem Sterling gets the third for Manchester City.
Sterling on target then as City extend the advantage against Fulham at the Etihad Stadium. There's Diarme losing out. Richie picks it up and tries to charge into the middle of the park. I think he needs to do something fairly swiftly here, does Rafa Benitez. They're not keeping the ball particularly well. They're certainly not looking too threatening as Richie's ball is straight into the arms of Petr Cech, who immediately bowls it out to Mesut Ozil. Ramsey's on a run. Out wide to the right-hand side is Lacazette, who he picks out. He's closed down by Kieran Clark. Lacazette, though, will look to come infield and then gives it back to halfway. Torreira's there. The support is from Bellerin on that right-hand touchline, just inside the Newcastle territory. 9 minutes gone in the second half. Newcastle 0, Arsenal 1. It's short again, and he's picked up nicely on this near side by Xhaka, and then Torreira. Keeps the ball well, shielding it, and two black and white shirts were chasing. And now they look to use Bellerin's pace on the right-hand side. Bellerin into the feet of Ozil, who just holds off the attention of Hayden. Gets it out wide. It's a nice ball from Ozil. He managed to pick out Aubameyang. He then looks for the follow-up. But it was a bit powder puff that time from Aubameyang. Here's Monreal into Ozil inside the box. First touch was terrible. Took it way away from him as he tried to find himself some room to shoot. And in the end it couldn't be picked up at all, and the foul there is from Socrates, and it's going to be a free kick on this near side for Newcastle, midway inside their own half.
The free kick goal has just knocked all the stuffing out of Newcastle. The wind's been put out their sail. You can see Rondon warming up now. Arsenal have just become totally and utterly in control of this game since that goal, so probably Rafa should be looking to make a change soon in the next 5 minutes.
Here's Murphy going across the face of goal. He was trying to, it took a deflection, and he's gathered at the near post on the right hand side by Petr Cech. 10 minutes into the second half. Newcastle 0, Arsenal 1, and you feel those obvious changes are the introduction of Rondon and probably John Joe Shelby, probably giving Kennedy a miss for today maybe. We'll see. Here is Ramsey, finds Ozil, who's 10 yards inside the Newcastle half. Nice ball this time out wide to the left-hand side. Aubameyang on a run towards the edge of the box. Aubameyang still going, tries the shot, gets blocked I think by the back of Lacazette in the end. Here is Monreal, who finds Lacazette at the edge of the penalty area on his right foot. Lacazette still going, snips it through towards Ozil, but again it's misread and it's cleared away as far as halfway where Mustafi picks it up, and you can just hear the home element of the 55,000 inside St James's Park are starting to get a little bit riled.
Yeah, it's like a game of attack v defence at the minute since the goal of Arsenal just completely on the ball. And I think the last 4 times Newcastle's had it, they've gave it away in the first pass, and it's just another wave from Arsenal coming at them.
Well, second half possession is probably no surprise. Arsenal up around 78%, Newcastle at 22%. Inability to keep the ball is showing. Here is Xhaka. Ozil, decent run from Bellerin inside the penalty area, but it was well tracked by Murphy, but his clearance is straight to the feet this time of Torreira. Here is Xhaka, the goal scorer, 30 yards out from goal. This time he is forced back towards his own goal, and Torreira again. And now towards the edge of the box is Aubameyang and Ramsey, and on the left is Monreal. Level with the edge of the box. Good movement from Arsenal. Swift passing. Controlled by Ramsey again. Monreal on this near side. Here is Xhaka. They're trying to pass Newcastle to death here, and now they have got him round the back. Xhaka down the left hand side, pulls it back across goal. Lacazette with a chance, tees it up, brings up Ozil, passes it into the back of the net. A hand on it from Dubravka, but it hits the back of the net, and Arsenal have their second of the game. And there's a question mark, I think, as to whether Lacazette got a touch. Dubravka got a hand to it, but the hard work done there surely by Mesut Ozil, and Arsenal have come out in this second half like an absolute steam train. And it's Newcastle 0, Arsenal 2.
A quality goal from Arsenal. I think the possession, they must have had about 10-15 passes there. They've worked it down the left for Xhaka, a fantastic cutback, a great block by a Newcastle player here, I don't know who it was, and it's come out and Ozil's just passed it in the net, and it's really Ozil's first bit of quality in the game. He's had 2 or 3 passes that he's let down up into this, but I think the keeper should save it. I know it's gone through legs, it's not a powerful shot, it's not in the corner of the goal, he gets sort of like a weak wrist to it.
He's passed passed it in, hasn't it?
It's passed it in.
Not too much power on it either.
And it's gone past the keeper's chocolate wrist. They were not the strongest. He's in the middle of the goal, really. The keeper should save that. I know it's gone through players, and maybe I'm being harsh, but I think he should save that. But a great build-up play by Arsenal. They worked it down. They kept the ball. They worked it down one side. Xhaka, a great cutback cross into Lacazette. Good block by Newcastle, and then it's ended up 2-0. Arsenal slotted it in.
3 goals in 4 games against Newcastle United for Mesut Ozil. You'll remember his first trip to St James's Park. First time here. First time he scored. 58 minutes on the clock. Rafa's out, barking instructions on the sideline. No real surprise that this has come, though, in my mind. Ever since they came out for the start of the second half, they have been second best. And they've got a mountain to climb now. Monreal infield to Xhaka. Xhaka launching that one over the top. Lovely run here by Lacazette, who spins and turns at the edge of the penalty area. Brings Aubameyang in from the left-hand side, and he's put it 3 or 4 yards wide.
I think Rafa needs to make a change. The way it keeps going, this could end up about 4-0, because it's the mentality in football. Once you've got something to hold on for, they've got this 0-0. Newcastle look good. They look maybe strong on a set piece. As soon as they've let that goal in and gone 1-0 down, they've actually just gone to pieces. Gave the ball away every time they've had it, and it's been just wave after wave of Arsenal.
Well, looking to win successive Premier League away games for the first time since May last year. Our Arsenal. Away form was wretched, but this is certainly better. Eyes on that first clean sheet as well under Unai Emery too. Hour gone. Newcastle 0, Arsenal 2. Here's Murphy on the charge down the left-hand side. Murphy's attempted cross is blocked out by Bellerin. Defending a little better as well at the start of the second half. Still no sign of any more changes from Rafa Benitez. That first one forced on him, of course, with the departure of Lascelles. The armband going to Paul Dummett, who has the throw on the far side. He gives that ball short, inside the box, trying to turn and get it across. Is Murphy again, and it breaks towards Ritchie, whose deflected shot was quite tame, and it bounced up in the air and into the arms of Petr Cech. Here come Arsenal immediately on the counter. Aubameyang's overrun that straight to the feet of Hayden, and now Ritchie has it. 3 red shirts immediately converge around him. We've still got the ball here with Diame. Diame out wide on the right hand side, just again too much on it, and fury from the home support in their black and white shirts all around St James's Park as they wave their arms in frustration.
Diame's passing today has been woeful, that's if I'm being kind to him. I think it's shown up a little bit more because John Joe Shelby ain't there. Normally when he plays, he just gives it to John Joe Shelby and he does the passing, but yeah, his pass completion is really, really low.
Throw in for Arsenal. Newcastle just trying to box them in a little bit here, trying to apply a little bit of pressure, which is what they haven't done in this second half. Yedlin's done well to get up and win the header. Perez gets it back to Kieran Clark. Here is Dummett on that left hand side. Gives it short to Diame, who then tries to just step out from the back. Mo Diame. Consider it's another shot at Premier League life for him. West Ham and Hull previously, of course. He's 31 years of age now. Mo Diame. There's Arsenal with possession again. Socrates goes back to check at the edge of his 6-yard box, who chips it out on this near side, and Monreal is there. He's caught late by Ritchie, goes down the Spaniard, and it's going to be a free kick for Arsenal. I think Ritchie, in some fairly broad Scott, has just told him to get up. He may have called him something as well, but I'm not sure what.
It is funny how someone so experienced as Petr Cech, his body language when the ball comes to him, I think it's just that worries people. It's not, he knows what he's doing, but it's his body language when he gets the ball, it just makes everyone feel nervous.
He looks petrified, doesn't he? His eyes tend to stick out on stalks as if to say, oh! Here on the near side, trying to challenge and win the ball is possible. I'm really surprised there's nobody in the Newcastle technical area. There is nobody out there trying to help organise them a little bit better here. They trail 2-0 and they need some fresh impetus, and they need someone who can get a foot on the ball and try and get them back in this game. He's on the bench, he's got no hair, he's John Joe Shelby, but maybe it's just obvious to us here. Here is from the back trying to play it out, Torreira again. gave the ball away, but then won it back with a lovely diving header. And Ramsey then, that's so poor. It's straight to the feet that time of Fernandes. There are still chances in this game for Newcastle if they can sort themselves out. Ritchie again, dreadful pass to Yedlin, who'd gone ahead of him. Tries to achieve the situation, but doesn't really have the legs for it. Ozil's easily dispossessed by Kieran Clark, who's now deep inside Arsenal territory, going forward. He scored 2 goals against them in his time at Villa, and he's looking to try and get on the end of a Murphy cross here, but Murphy doesn't cross it. It's given back to Dummett, and his ball in his paw, and it's away by Monreal. And then Ozil commits a foul in the middle of the park, and that's going to be a free kick to Newcastle, and Isaac Hayden has gone down.
Yeah, it just got scrappy again for 5 to 6 minutes there. Both teams giving it away. It's so important when you get the ball to that first pass, keep it, and then you can get a bit of momentum and possession. But if you just keep giving it away, it becomes scrappy and a bit end-to-end, but not in a good way.
Elsewhere, it's Bournemouth 3, Leicester 0. It's Chelsea 2, Cardiff 1, Huddersfield 0, Crystal Palace 1, and Man City 3, Fulham 0. Looks like Chelsea are about to rack up 5 straight wins. They can keep that up against Cardiff. Liverpool did it earlier today, of course. And we'll see how the other 100% record side, Watford, get on in just over an hour from now when they take on Manchester United. Here's the free kick for Newcastle. It's midway inside the Arsenal half. It's got Matt Ritchie over the top of it. He knows where to aim. I'm guessing Kieran Clark will be the target, but all he's done is pick out the outstretched arms of Petr Cech inside his 6-yard area. It's really poor delivery from Matt Ritchie that time. Ramsey, infield he goes. And here is Mesut Ozil on that right-hand side. He's got Bellerin making a run outside him on the far touchline. Ozil, though, with his left boot, tries to craft the pass towards Ramsey, who was at the edge of the box on this near side, but it's easily intercepted by Newcastle. Picked up that time by Hayden, who was trying to find Perez on the far side, and Murphy was fighting hard too. Ritchie's gone out to that left touchline now. His first time ball hits the face of Bellerin, who's not 8 or 9 yards away from him at the time, and there's a foul there, and it's on Hayden again by Lacazette, and it's a free kick for Newcastle at the edge of the centre circle.
I think this would be a typical Mesut Ozil game, where he's not been brilliant, he's shown glimpses, he's got a goal, and it's against a team that's probably going to be below mid-table. So if this game probably sums up his time in recent times at Arsenal.
But you can't have that when you pay that kind of price for it, can you? Here's Ritchie on this near side, on his left foot. Ritchie just thinking and teasing, and in the end ends up going back to Fernandes, who's that far forward and able to lift the ball, but it's way out of play on the far side. Dummett can't keep it in, and it's going to be a throw-in on that far side for Arsenal. Mkhitaryan's actually going to come on for Arsenal shortly. When you've paid what you've paid for Mesut Ozil, and he is, one of your star names, you really need to deliver more often, don't you? I look at someone like Pogba for Manchester United, and for me, if Pogba wants to go, and there's somewhere else that's better suited to him, I'd happily let him go if they'll give me the same money that I paid for him, because what does he do for Manchester United? And they could spend that money more wise and probably get some players and all work harder for them. I think of him and Ozil in a similar vein, in that their luxuries that those two teams can't afford.
Yeah, I know. I think Pogba's probably got if he's not playing that well, he's got more of a physical presence in there, and he's just won the World Cup. It's a bit that Ozil, I've seen Pogba control some games and grab it by the scruff of the neck. I've never really seen Ozil do it in a big game.
No, it's true. I think Kennedy's going to come on for Newcastle, which is possibly a little bit baffling, because Perez and Hosselu have run a lot but have done nothing, and they need John Joe Shelby, but I'm not Rafa Benitez. Here's Lacazette on that far side. Kieran Clark's done well there, because I think Lacazette had the beating of him at one point, but the Republic of Ireland international has returned that. Then Murphy slipped a ball through the middle, and Cech is 10 yards outside his box. That's terrific. Keeper sweeping that time, coming from Petr Cech. Ball through to Aubameyang this time from Lacazette, just overhit, and De Bruyne can come and collect.
Unlucky by Lacazette. It was a great coming in on his left foot, a disguised reverse pass back into Aubameyang, just a tiny bit up.
Kennedy and Mkhitaryan are preparing to come on. Hassan is listening from Ashman on City FM. He's tuned in to our coverage from St James's Park today. Thanks for your company, Hassan. He says, come on, you Arsenal. Well, they're coming on at the moment. They're 2 up. Here's Richie on this near side, trying to force something forward. Is Yedlin, but he's just run that into the heels of Monreal. And the breakout's on here with Xhaka. Played that with his right foot. He's gone straight into touch, which is probably no great surprise to any Arsenal fan who's seen Xhaka play frequently. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is coming off, and he's going to be replaced by Henrik Mkhitaryan. Looks slightly dejected, does Aubameyang as he departs. 4 goals in his last 8 away fixtures, but not adding to his tally today. And also going off is going to be Jacob Murphy here for Newcastle, to be replaced by Kennedy, whose fairly lacklustre performance against Cardiff, including that missed penalty in the 96th minute, certainly cost Newcastle their first win of the season that day. He's on for the last 21 minutes.
And probably should have got sent off as well in that.
He should. Wasn't at his best that day. Dummett gives it short to Diame. Up the line that goes, but it actually went straight into touch. And it will be a throw-in on that far side for Arsenal. We're into the last quarter of the game, just over 20 minutes remaining. Benitez sucking on a sweet in that dugout, thinking over how he can get his Newcastle side back in this. He's made 2 of his changes already, one enforced of course with Lascelles going off and Clark coming on. Down the left-hand side is Monreal now for Arsenal. Left-footed ball swung over, headed away by Fernandes. Only out there far as Xhaka. Xhaka on this left-hand side to Monreal again. He's level with the edge of the box as he this time doesn't choose to curl his left foot round it. Instead he lays it off to Ramsey. Ramsey wants him to make a run around Matt Ritchie, but Monreal's adamant he's going nowhere. And it's Bellerin on that right hand side. Lovely ball slipped into Mesut Ozil on the right hand edge on his left foot, hits it back and tees it up for Torreira, who arrives and he chips it well over the bar. So he's taking a field goal attempt maybe in American football.
He's got to do better. He's got to hit the target, probably come onto the ball a little bit quick, snatched it a little bit, but yeah, good player game by Arsenal. Monreal chucked the first one in the cross, but I don't think Arsenal are ever going to look like scoring from across in the box because of the height, unless it's a defensive mistake by a Newcastle player. So there is a better option to recycle it, pass it round the edge of the box and try and open them up.
Ritchie does well to get the ball out wide on this right hand side to Yedlin. Yedlin's pass down the line was looking for Perez. Perez couldn't get there. It's cleared away and controlled this time by Ritchie, who's fouled by the substitute Mkhitaryan, and that's going to be a free kick midway inside the Arsenal half. 19 minutes remaining here. Ritchie's over the top of it, and there's 5 or 6 black and white shirts lurking at the edge of the penalty area. Osalu, Perez, they're all trying to get on the end of this one. It's towards Clark, who just doesn't have the presence that Lascelles had to try and win the ball up against Mustafi, and Ramsey has it back inside his own boxes. Mustafi gives the ball away, edge of the penalty area. Fernandes has missed it and it's put out of play, and a mistake by Socrates and Mustafi, and they have to concede the corner on that far side to Newcastle United. This is their best chance of getting back in this game.
Yeah, it's the one area I thought they could exploit because of their physical presence over Arsenal. Arsenal with their zonal marking.
8th corner, it's Kennedy. Oh my word. With his left foot, he's not even got past the front of the 6-yard box, and it was at the feet of the defender. It's terrible from Kennedy. On loan, of course, from Chelsea. And then he's dwelt on the ball and been dispossessed by Lacazette, who's found Ramsey. Ramsey on that right-hand side. He's got himself up, having been taken down. Ramsey gets the cross into the box. Mkhitaryan arrives. Lacazette's there as well, and his right-footed effort from a tight angle is well blocked out on this near side and behind for what will be a corner to Arsenal.
Yedlin looked like he's probably hurt himself there. It'd be nice to see what's happened, whether he's caught his studs in the ground. He said, but he does seem to be in pain.
Yeah, he does. He managed to get the block on there, did Yedlin, from that effort from Mkhitaryan after Kennedy. I mean, it was an appalling corner to start with.
Ooh, that was quite a bad one. I think he's caught his studs in the turf and something's twisted there.
Ankle ligaments, do you think?
Maybe his knee.
Oh yeah, he has gone down. That does look nasty for DeAndre Yedlin. Only one substitute available for Rafa Benitez. Mkhitaryan with his effort on goal. I mean, Kennedy, it was an awful corner. And not only that, when you get the chance again, he gives the ball away in a really dangerous area. I mean, it's inexplicable, really. And it's caused Newcastle problems here because Yedlin looks in some real discomfort.
Yeah.
He's around his right knee.
Tested his knee ligaments there. You can see that he tested it on both legs to see how flexible they are. Sometimes when you do a knee ligament, it becomes too loose.
Well, I thought it was it looked like the left one was the one that went down.
But the right one's stuck in the ground, so your weight's gone on your other, and it twists it round.
Well, he's up and about, which is always a good sign. No need for a stretcher, and I think he's trying to hobble on both feet here, which is never a good scenario to be in. He's trying to put some weight down on both. And DeAndre Yedlin has had an interesting last few games in the Premier League. He managed to score his first Premier League goal in that period, of course. He also managed his first assist and an own goal as well, so he's had a busy few weeks. I don't think he's going to be alright to continue there, isn't he?
Do you know what? When you do your ACL ligament, it is 10 seconds of the most excruciating pain, and then afterwards you think, I could probably play on. So I hope it's not, but it does look like I don't think he will play on the way he's limping off.
Corner for Arsenal, taken by Xhaka. They're down to 10 men at the moment, Newcastle. Well, there's the arm up from Lee Probert to say he can come back on. He's run on, but he's immediately started just limping as he pulled himself up on that far side. Here's Mkhitaryan on this near side, the Arsenal left. He slips the ball out wide to Monreal. It's a terrible pass from Monreal to the edge of the penalty area. And Hayden will just chip it into touch on this near side, and it will be a throw-in. Benitez gathers the ball in his technical area. I think he's looking across at DeAndre Yedlin to check how he feels, and if he feels comfortable, Monreal takes the throw for Arsenal in the meantime. A quarter of an hour to go here. It's Newcastle 0, Arsenal 2. The goals from Xhaka and Mesut Ozil. It's Bournemouth 3, Leicester 0. The Vitality, it's still Chelsea 2, Cardiff 1. The John Smith is Huddersfield 0, Crystal Palace 1, and at the Etihad it's Man City 3, Fulham 0. Reminder, Liverpool went top of the Premier League with a 2-1 victory over Spurs at Wembley. Should have been more than 2-1 really. Stacks of chances for that Liverpool side, but it's a 100% record for them. 5 wins out of 5. Chelsea look on course to make it 5 out of 5 as well, as they are leading Cardiff. And of course Watford are in action against Manchester United in an hour from now. They'll be looking to make it 5 out of 5 as well. Here's Petr Cech, gets that one cleared. Diame heads it up inside the centre circle. I wonder if it's been a case after 5 games of a Premier League season where maybe there has been 3 teams with a 100% record at that point.
I can't remember one.
No, I can't either. I'm sure there'll be some statistician somewhere who'll pull that one out. Should it happen, should Watford get the better of Manchester United this afternoon, whatever happens, it'll be an intriguing encounter. I wonder if Marcus Rashford will get a start today. Lovely ball from Diame inside the penalty area. And the chase was on. In fact, there's a foul there on Socrates inside the box. And it's Kennedy that's been penalised.
It's not a great start to come in and assault Kennedy.
He's claiming he was innocent. Ayoze Perez is saying to Lee Probert, I think he was innocent too. But the referee, having none of it, will get marks for you as he watches a replay.
He's clipped him. I think he's clipped him. It's good defending by Socrates. He's coming, he's clever. He knows if he gets there first, he can go down and get the free kick. It's good defending.
It's a fairly acrobatic role from the Greek defender. There's no two ways about that. He won the free kick though. 13 minutes to go. Newcastle 0, Arsenal 2. St James's Park. Mkhitaryan trying to get in there and win that. Picked up by Ramsey on this near side. Ball is in Arsenal's possession, as it has been for so much of this second half. Towards the edge of the penalty area. Mkhitaryan's not going to get there first. Hayden will. Out to Perez, the tackle from Taderen. It's a fairly clean one, but Perez went down and the free kick goes Newcastle's way, just short of the centre circle inside their own half. And still no sign of John Joe Shelby from this Newcastle bench or another change. I think they've probably learnt yet whether Yedlin can continue. He's certainly walking a lot freer than he was earlier. So maybe it's time to make that change if they want to get themselves back in this game. Here is Granit Xhaka.
Or if he's coming back from injury, you're 2-0 down to Arsenal, you don't want to risk him maybe.
There may be a view that there will be easier games to win for Newcastle. Crystal Palace away coming up next, then Leicester at home, Manchester United away and Brighton at home. Next 4 fixtures. Europa League action, of course, for Arsenal on Thursday night, and then Everton at home, Brentford at home in the League Cup, and then Watford at home as well. Well, here is the change, and it isn't going to be Shelby, and it's not going to be Rondon either. We're going to see the introduction of the Japanese international, Yoshinori Muto, and he's coming on to replace Ayoze Perez, is it? I think there's been a mix-up with the board. These 4th officials can't do their job properly. It's Richie, I think, that's gone off. And Ayoze Perez has come over to this near touchline, and there's a tactical change here, clearly from Rafa Benitez. So your main striker, Rondon, doesn't come on. Shelby, the man who can unlock a defence, doesn't come on instead.
It's a strange one. When your 2 centre forwards haven't had a shot, and they've not, and you've got Rondon on the bench, and there's not been, you've not taken one of your forwards off. I find that strange, especially being at home. You're at home, 80 minutes have gone. I don't think either centre forwards had a shot, and there's not been a change made up front.
Well, they've been a little perplexed at St James's Park this season, that's for sure. They last failed to win any of their opening 4 league games. That was in 2015-2016, when it went on to be 8 opening league games, and they ended up being relegated that season. It's actually the first time that they'd lost their opening 2 home league games since 2003-2004. It's actually 30 years since they lost their opening 3 at St James's Park in the league. But that's what's happening today. As things stand, they're 2 down against Arsenal with 10 minutes to go. Mkhitaryan gets it wide on that right-hand side to Lacazette, who has it at the edge of the penalty area, back towards Bellerin. Here is Xhaka, 40 yards from goal, chips the ball over the top for Lacazette to try and run onto. Arsenal made a change, by the way, as well. Ramsey's gone off and Welbeck's come on, the 3rd of their changes too. As the chase is on, and it's furthest player forward this time. Trying to put some pressure on Petr Cech is the Japanese substitute, Muta. And it's into touch on this near side for a throw. Clearly, Solomon Rondon, who returned from international duty late from Venezuela, not really deemed in the right state to play today. And there's Simon Royale with a throw on this near side. Feels like some really perplexing tactics from Rafa Benitez this afternoon.
I know, like I said before, if he's not fully fit, you don't want to risk him, John Joe Shelby, and if he's travelled from Venezuela and but why have him on the bench? Well, that's my one.
And also, when clearly you're struggling to hold the ball up top and find that final pass in the final third, the best 2 players you have potential to do it, you don't bring them out. I mean, there are a lot of folded arms around St James's Park, and they're accompanied by either glum faces or the rubbing of their eyes and the shaking of their heads. Or even in some cases, they're just utterly bored. They've had 2 efforts compared to Arsenal's 10, not 1 on target, and yet the 2 strikers stay on. Here is Bellerin, giving it short on that right-hand side to Torreira. Torreira coming forward, he's done well. Skips infield to Bellerin, he's caught late Bellerin, but they still get the ball out wide to Mesut Ozil, and then Bellerin continues his run. It's kept in nicely by Torreira, who's got inside the box, and it's out for a corner to Arsenal on the right-hand side.
His introduction at half-time has seemed to have sparked Arsenal. They had a bit more purpose. He's brought some impetus into the team, not just like passing and like at walking paces. Everything he does is high tempo, and I think that they've got the reward from that.
Xhaka will deliver this corner on the far side with his left boot. He's going to swing this one over. Set piece for Arsenal. We mentioned earlier on they are certainly outdone in terms of height and size and physical presence, but Ozil's loaded this in for a second one. Mkhitaryan on this near side has it, tries to just turn away that time and gets the better of Hayden, and he wins his side another corner on this left hand side for Arsenal. They need 2-0 here. We'll head to the vitality in a moment, of course. Bournemouth had a cracking first half against Leicester, leading there by 3-0. Here is the corner on this near side, though, for Arsenal, and it's swung over with the right foot that time of Mkhitaryan, and now a chance for Muto to try and break here, possibly for Newcastle United. He gets up towards halfway. They've won appearance at the World Cup for Japan. Good Muto. It's a 4th substitute appearance in the Premier League for him so far. He's yet to start. 9.5 million he cost. It's a poor clearance from Dubravka. Here's Danny Welbeck. Started for England, of course, against Switzerland in midweek. Looked a little bit match rusty, did Welbeck. He scored when he came on as a sub against West Ham, of course. Good bit of work done this time by Perez to win the ball deep. Up towards halfway. Muto has put that out wide to Dummett, who can only just keep it in. And here come Newcastle again. Ball lifted out wide to this right-hand side, but too much on it for Yedlin to chase down, and it's going to be a throw-in. And once more, there's a few jeers.
I don't care who you're playing. I don't care if it's an FA Cup game when you're like a Championship or League One team and you're playing a Premier League team. You've got to have a shot on target at home. It don't matter who you are. You can't have a home game and not have a shot on target.
Well, we thought the way he'd set the team up, he'd come to have a go today. At times they did in the first half, but again without that quality in the final third. Bellerin charging forward here. Skips past the challenge. Bellerin at the edge of the penalty area. Right footed ball floated over towards Welbeck, who volleys in a cross goal. Comes down to Lacazette, whose shot is blocked. And at the edge of the penalty area, Kennedy will try and skip away with it, which he does. And Torreira tries to put his shorts down but misses. And Kennedy will push it out wide to the left hand side. And now Hossalu's got it, and he just looks up and says, what are my options? And it's Fernandes that's charging forward, 25 yards out, across the face of goal that time, but Perez, it's spilled by Cech. Mutu can't get there.
That don't count as a shot. That was a bad cross.
It was a very bad cross. But let's get some goals elsewhere. The Vitality Stadium, Bournemouth against Leicester. Richard Wolfenden.
Fraser gets it back from King. Fraser gets it to Mikhailo, gets his cross in to the edge of the box. So Smith is waiting. It's Bournemouth 4, Leicester 0.
Leicester down to 10 men, but it is 4-0 to Bournemouth, and there's a penalty at Stamford Bridge for Russell Hargreaves.
On a hat-trick, Eden Hazard sticks it into the corner. Etheridge does not save a second penalty of the season, sent the wrong way. And the Belgian magician has his hat-trick. Eden Hazard's been brilliant today. And he's got a 3-goal haul, and surely 3 more points now for Chelsea. Chelsea 3, Cardiff 1.
Indeed, Chelsea making it 5 wins out of 5. The top of the Premier League. Liverpool did it earlier. Will Watford, will Marcus Rashford get in that Manchester United starting 11? Jose Mourinho was on the old defensive yesterday in his press conference, that's for sure. And will we see that desire and application that Watford have shown in their opening 4 fixtures? You'll find out in around about 45 minutes time or so. Tom Rennie and Franny Benali will take you through that one as Watford entertain Manchester United. Here, Arsenal, they've done a job here on Newcastle in this second half. They lead 2-0. Potentially heading for that first clean sheet of the season, which will be important for Unai Emery and Petr Cech as well, you feel. It's extraordinary to think that as that ball was played across the centre of midfield, Federico Fernandes was the on-rushing player for Newcastle to pick up possession. Offside flag is up, and the assistant waited because Hossalu hadn't put a challenge in, but as he chased on this near side Socrates into the corner, and it forced that decision from the assistant. 3 minutes to go. Newcastle 0, Arsenal 2, and I know Hossalu has scored 2 of Newcastle United's Premier League goals this season, but he just doesn't work hard enough for me. He doesn't impact a game.
I don't know what his quality is, so I don't know if he's a hold-up player. I don't know if he's got the pace to be an in-behind dynamic player. I don't, he's not the strongest man to be a target man.
Hard to work out what him and Perez offer together. Here is Dummett forward on that far side, picked up by the substitute, and forward comes Muto, gets it out wide to this near touchline. That's a decent ball because he's picked out Perez. That's a better cross from him this time, and there's the header tipped over the bar by Petr Cech, and that's what Hossalu does. He gets the header on target and Cech makes the save. He answered our question.
Yeah, much better. Much better. Perez, he gets a cross in, and Arsenal maybe could do better with the header. It's in the middle of the goal. He's got a clear free header. He's got to be heading that down or in the corner. He's headed it right above Petr Cech's head to tip it over. Either side, put it in the corners, high or low. That's a great opportunity.
But it's taken 88 minutes for the first bit of quality from Newcastle into the box. And that's what happens when they do. They get something on target. Heading away at the near post. Well by Danny Welbeck, the corner. And the charge is on here. Here's Lacazette. Welbeck sprinting down the middle. Lacazette slips it through for Welbeck to chase onto between two defenders. Danny Welbeck with a chance. Ball in the box. Tries to get the shot away into the side netting.
I think he was having a shot or shorts pulled there by Yedlin as he's gone through, but a great through ball for him. He's run on. Lacazette, great through ball.
Let's have a look. Is there a little tug?
Just a little one in the shorts. Not enough to give him a penalty.
Into the last minute, Arsenal have it with Bellerin on that far side. They lead 2-0 here. Let's quickly pop to Stamford Bridge. Russell Hargreaves.
Cunning effort, a wonderful goal from Willian. And Chelsea really are clicking into gear now. This is delightful football.
Willian on target, adding to the hat-trick from Eden Hazard. He's your fantasy captain. You've had a good day today, that's for sure. Ball with Newcastle. They have possession on that far side. It's stroked out wide to the left, where it's picked up by Duck. Back in field. Waiting for some possession is Diame. Diame out wide to that left-hand touchline. Left-footed ball played across. Once more by Dummett is easily blocked out.
That's the thing. Arsenal really the last 10-15 minutes has been in second gear. They've made some subs and they feel like they've won the game, and as I said, they've been in second gear, and Newcastle still have only had one shot on target.
Bellerin has to block out the attempted cross from Dummett, and it's going to be a corner on that left-hand side for Newcastle, and it's going to be taken by Dummett, it would appear this time. This will really be a consolation for Newcastle, but he can't be the first man either, so we've got a succession of really poor corners from Newcastle, whether it was Kennedy or on that occasion Dummett. We're into 3 minutes of added time. Dubravka's way out of his penalty area and launches a ball forward on this near side. Little flick on, maybe by mistake, by Perez. Right footed cross into the box.
Great goal.
It's a wonderful goal. It's a lovely header, and it's Kieran Clark who's still up there from the failed corner, who puts it beyond Petr Cech. And when Newcastle get some decent ball in the final third, decent delivery into the penalty area, they've caused problems. Yossou's header was saved earlier. This time round it's Kieran Clark who puts it beyond Petr Cech. We're in stoppage time, but Newcastle have one back. Newcastle 1, Arsenal 2.
A great ball. I did see him put the cross in there. Great ball, but Kieran Clark showing Hosselu what how to head the ball, head it down, get good contacts on it, and look, they've put 2 crosses in the last 2 minutes, 2 quality crosses, and they've had 2 chances, scored one of them.
Well, is there a chance for a dramatic finale here? Kieran Clark, yet another goal against Arsenal. It's the 3rd in his career. He scored 2 back in 2010 when Aston Villa were playing against Arsenal in one game, actually, in a victory that day for Villa. He has, however, lost 7 of his previous 9 appearances against the Gunners. It's his first goal since last November as well for Kieran Clark. And has he given them a lifeline? Well, here's Welbeck trying to knock it forward for Arsenal. It's out of play, and it will be a throw-in on that far side to Newcastle, level with the edge of their own penalty area. We've had 2 minutes of added time here. Newcastle 1, Arsenal 2. Dubravka gives it short on this near side, and Yedlin is caught by Welbeck, and it's going to be a free kick for Newcastle, midway inside their own half. Dubravka will take it. We're in the final minute of added time here. Lacazette trying to force the Slovakian keeper back. He's going to launch it forward though, and there are plenty of black and white shirts forward. It's flicked on, but Bellerin has it at the edge of the box on the right hand side for Arsenal. His attempted clearance is deflected, headed away by Fernandes from the back. He was the man who delivered the cross. Federico Fernandes into the box. It was well headed home by Kieran Clark. One centre half with the ball out wide for another. Here's Ozil inside the penalty area. Tees that one up to Mkhitaryan in towards Lacazette. Little touch from DeAndre Yedlin and the ball's away. It's controlled though on halfway by Mustafi. Forward down the right hand side to Mesut Ozil. The 3 minutes that were added on by Lee Probert are done, but they did score in that period, so surely there'll be another 30 seconds or so here for Newcastle United. Mkhitaryan on that far side, he's fouled, and that will surely be it. Kennedy, no surprise with the foul, and that's going to be a free kick for Arsenal, and that should secure all the points for the Gunners.
Yep, and a great bit of skill by Mesut Ozil before to bring it down, and it's a simple pass by Mkhitaryan just to get Lacazette in for a goal when he missed the pass.
Here is Mkhitaryan on that far side, and there is the final whistle from referee Lee Probert. It's another defeat. There's booing around here for Rafa Benitez and for Newcastle. They've been beaten by Arsenal by 2-1. Late attempt from Kieran Clark to get them back into it. Not enough after Xhaka and Ozil's go. And they've lost 3 home league games for the first time since 1987-1988. Right, let's get you some of the late drama elsewhere. Straight to the Vitality. Bournemouth were leading by 4-0 against Leicester. A penalty to Leicester with Richard Wolfenden.
James Maddison from 12 yards. Sends Begovic the wrong way, and Leicester have a goal back at the Vitality. 4-1. Surely only a consolation though at this point for the Foxes.
4-1 then, and another goal, this time for Leicester City as well for Richard Wolfenden.
Cross comes in from Iheanacho looking for Brighton. It's 4-2. A delicate glancing header from the substitute Mark Albrighton, and it's 2 goals in 2 minutes for Leicester. It's not over yet.
It may well not be over. Let's get there live for the closing stage at the Vitality with Richard Wolfenden.
25 yards.